On this episode, we assemble and install the 302 in our Ford Explorer Sport Trac. Welcome back to Left Hand Threads. It's time to get this 302 put together, and first we got to get the pistons cleaned up. Now that the pistons are clean, we just need to gap the piston rings. We want to make sure we expand the gap slightly so in the event we do apply boost to the engine, they don't expand and break or crack a ring land. As long as your piston does not have a dome, you can use the piston upside down to be able to push the ring in the bore and to make sure that it is level all the way around. I'm going to use a cheap ring filer that I got off of Amazon. I've made a drill attachment for my cordless drill. Just remember, if you do the filing, you don't want to file too much, so always file a little, recheck it, file a little, and recheck it. Now that that's done, we can finally get this crankshaft put back in. We received it back from the machine shop. They only needed to do a polish job, so we'll be able to use the stock sized main bearings and the stock sized rod bearings, standard from the factory. I'll try to verify the clearances, but I don't have bore gauges, so what I'll use is the green plastic gauge just to give me an idea that we're close, and we'll proceed from there. Just a quick check on the crankshaft in play. We want to make sure it is still in spec with the new thrust bearing according to Ford specifications, and then we can proceed and move on to getting all the pistons installed in each of their holes. If you remember from the disassembly video, each one is marked with a stamped number, and then also the dot on the piston indicates to the front of the engine. And finally, we get to finish up this long block by installing the cylinder heads and the new head gaskets. Once those are installed, we'll get the push rods put back in, everything tightened and torqued down, and get the valve covers on it. And now we will have a completed long block. A little recap real quick before we continue. While the cameras were off, I went ahead and started adding other items to the engine after we got the long block assembled. So I've got the lower intake manifold on, all the pulleys and front dresses on. We've got a new water pump, the oil pan, everything like that's on. I've also put on the rear main seal, the flywheel, the clutch pressure plate, and the clutch disc, and a T5 bell housing from an '89 Mustang. So that's where we're at today. I do not have the exhaust manifolds for Ford Explorer, so I had these turbo manifolds sitting in my pile. So we're going to try and see if these will fit. They obviously clear the front dress on this side, and it's very close to the air conditioner compressor on the driver's side. But for now, we're going to install without the AC compressor just to check for fitment. So that's where we're at there, and we'll have to do one more thing before we try to stab the engine. The driver's side motor mount is a different orientation on the studs, so luckily this engine had the driver's side motor mount on it when I received it, so we're going to use that, install it onto the frame, and see if that will allow us to stab this directly in. So stay tuned. I'll start videotaping the installation, and we'll see what we come up with. 302 is officially in. We still have some modifications to make. I did have to remove this driver's side header. I'm really going to have to do some work over here, but that's not a problem. You can see the steering shaft is very close, and then of course we've got this accessory bracket that holds the power steering pump on top. The tank goes right here, plastic tank, and then the AC compressor. The AC compressor is not too much of a concern. However, it would be nice to have the AC later, but maybe we can remove this battery box and utilize this area, but we'll see. So yeah, the engine's in loosely. We will pull it back out eventually. I just wanted to get a pre-fit to make sure. This turbo manifold here is very close to this air conditioning line, you can see. So if we don't use the AC, I can disconnect the line right here and it won't be a concern. These two plastic tanks I'll probably remove and relocate, but we may have to cut this flange off anyways and just get back to the collector itself and rework this piping here to get us back out in the front. So, but it's in, it's on the mounts, so we will see what we need to do next.